Architecture begins with a thought, a dream, a single line, but then you build it. And all of a sudden, the dream, you can touch her. She is real.
Në dekadat e fundit, Shqipëria ka kaluar nga izolimi ekstrem në një periudhë të hapjes dhe ndërtimit të identitetit të ri kombëtar. Në këtë tranzicion politik, shoqëror dhe urban, arkitektura ka luajtur një rol më të madh se sa thjesht krijimi i ndërtesave. Ajo është kthyer në një gjuhë të re për të shprehur ambicjet e një vendi që kërkon të ndërtojë jo vetëm struktura, por edhe lidhje të reja me botën, me të ardhmen dhe me qytetarët e saj. Festivali Bread and Heart, Bukë e Zemër, vjen në një kontekst si një ngjarje ku përplasen me dashamirësi dy forca, mikpritja shqiptare, e rrënjosur thellë në kulturë dhe histori dhe vizioni bashkëkohor i ndërtimit urban, i sjell nga mbi 150 studio arkitekture nga e gjithë bota. Shqipëria po bëhet një skenë eksperimentale për ide të reja arkitekturore, për bashkëpunime ndërkulturore dhe për reflektim të guximshëm mbi të shkuarën dhe të ardhmen.
I'm absolutely delighted, emotional also, because to have all of you sitting here and someone of the younger architects said to me, what is happening? I never imagined to see the heroes of my youth sitting in some stairs in Tirana. We are approaching the European Union, but we are not yet very much regulated here, so we can make some good out of it. I'm really very thankful, and when I remember how it's all started, it's crazy. I was mayor of Tirana and I was in Rotterdam, and someone took the stage, and I thought was kind of a blonde Dutch version of David Copperfield, the magician. And I was like under the magic, and I approached the guy and I say, I like very much your presentation, and I'd very much like you to come to Albania. And he says, where? And he is here now, begging at the stair, Vini Mas. And then we had our first international competition. Someone said to me, what you are expecting for the festival, from the festival to give back. And my only expectation, the real one, is that every one of you leaves with the regret that it ended and with the impatience to come back next year. Chris, thank you for this beautiful venue. Thanks to you, we could have this fantastic reception. So it's really a fantastic gift for the country, for the city, for the people working here, and it's absolutely unique for my narcissism.
Në një kohë kur shumë vende mbyllen në frikë dhe dyshim, Shqipëria vendos të hapet dhe bën këtë përmes arkitekturës si akt politik, si formë përfaqësimi, si mënyrë për të treguar se qytetet dhe fshatrat nuk janë thjesht hapësira për të jetuar, por pasqyra e shpirtit të një kombi që kërkon të rilind, jo me retorik, por me punë konkrete dhe bashkëpunim ndërkombëtar.
This festival is, in its own way, a bayram of the spirit, an act of stepping forward, not to dominate the land, but to listen to it, not to impose, but to imagine together, not to sacrifice one vision for another, but to lay down our egos so that something common, something greater can rise in their place. And if this seems like coincidence, this alignment of sacred day and the new beginning, I must say, and trust me, I've come a long way in every sense. And rightly or wrongly, I no longer believe in coincidence. So I invite you, each of you, to feel the connection between this day and this new adventure. Architecture can transform not only spaces, but also minds, not only locations, but also the imagination of a community, its sense of place, its vision of the future, and its self-confidence. Dear guests of the Arc Army, dear local architects, students, developers, and others, a very warm welcome to all of you here today in the living heart of Tirana, in an Albania that today produces more architecture than all the Europe combined, while ascending the final steps that still separate her from the European Olympus. Here today we embark together on a new adventure, to create a space within a spiritual form, not one where architecture must be built, but where architects must be heard. We are here to place a bold bet on architecture as a catalyst in a democratic process where individuals and communities must constantly negotiate and renegotiate their relationship, both territorial and spiritual, by reflecting on the past and learning how to face the future. We have found a name for the space we are here to start creating, Bread and Heart Festival. We've also found a motto, bring some salt, please. The expression bread, heart, and salt is the unholy trinity of the holy Albanian hospitality. It once captured the traditional spirit of this land and our old code of honor, which demanded that we welcome guests, travelers, and foreigners by sharing all that we had, but never less than bread for the stomach, salt for the taste, and most importantly, the heart for their safety. Architects don't simply leave a contribution or a mark, they carry something forward. They help us see not one path, but many. Sometimes in straight lines, sometimes in circles, drawing a geometry of belonging. There is real energy in what architecture can generate, an energy that flows through us, that transforms us, and reshapes the place itself. Let's see where it leads, but wherever it does, or even if it leads nowhere, let's make sure that while we are together, the bread is abundant, the heart is wide open, and the salt is never missing when it's needed. Thank you.
Imagjino një vend që hendet mes kujtimeve të thella dhe ëndrave të reja, ku një fasade vjetër mban me vete rrëfimin e një kohe që nuk kthehet më, dhe një maket i vogël në një tavolinë tregon drejtimin e së ardhmes. Në një kopsht në zemër të Tiranës ndërtohet një festival. Jo me beton, por me njerëz, me ide, me muzikë, me bukë dhe zemër. Bread and Heart është një moment ku Shqipëria ndalet për të dëgjuar veten, për të parë të tjerët, për të kuptuar se çfarë po ndërtohet brenda dhe jashtë saj.
We are now doing some designs on the coastline. We are also Portuguese, so we know about mistakes that were done on the coastline of these touristical points. We know the potential of Albania, the touristical potential of Albania. I think it's very interesting when we have a common vision among this architectural army and the Prime Minister. We have to invite people to leave the coastline and to enjoy it, but at the same time we have to keep as much as possible the potential of this coast.
Eventually to include I think that the schools of architecture, they need to be part of it, the local ones, and also the local architects. And I think at some point the local architects, they need to kind of, hopefully they will play a greater role.
What is specific is certainly the speed at which we have been asked to work, the freedom and ambition of the clients, and at the same time the non-correspondence of this ambition to the means, because the means are far more limited than the ambition, which would look like a dramatic situation, but actually I think it's, for architecture, is much worse the standard Western European situation, which you have the means, but you don't have the ambition.
All these people come here, right? Because it's a place where ideas make a mark, and all these ideas exist here because there's a reception and there's a potential for ideas, and local ideas have the same value, the ideas that come from Rome, New York, or China.
Maketet të shpërndara si ishuj, paviljone që hapin krahat si dritare, tryeza ku ulet një arkitekt japonez pranë një gjyshi nga Berati, dhe ndërmjet tyre një fëmijë që dëgjon për herë të parë se arkitektura mund të jetë edhe lojë edhe përgjegjësi.
I'm impressed by Edi Rama. I think he's really leading the transformation of the city with a desire of art, with a desire of something beautiful that can make everybody enjoy. And I really believe that Albania can become a model for countries like Europe who are a little in a moment of decadence, maybe, or forgetfulness.
This city is so extraordinary. It's like no other city in the world. Not just the energy, not just the pace, which is extreme and very exhilarating, but it's also a city that is held by nature, by the power of these mountains around it.
And I do hope that you keep the energy and that you enlarge that. And maybe sometimes this kind of bold actions, surprising, that would be the best of the culture to cultivate. And I can imagine that after a period, maybe you fall asleep. And it's not my wish. You're not there yet to act like a pensionado. The densification of Tirana don't stop because of the sprawl over your country. We'll go further. And find solutions now even more complicated situations. You have to get to the step that not only architecture of buildings is important, but also the architecture of infrastructure or the architecture of a new metro line. I think also it's the moment that the architecture of your landscapes are on stake.
Ka zëra që flasin për gabime që mësuan më shumë se planet, për projekte që nisën ndryshe dhe përfunduan më mirë, për mikpritje që u bë udhëzuesi vërtet në procesin krijues.
Like how to translate the vision of the Prime Minister or what we're hearing now to tools that will allow the country to be evolved not only on the scale of the building, but also on the scale of the city, the scale of the district, the scale of energy, infrastructure.
Generosity from the landscape, generosity from the people. It looks like a fertile ground. I hope that the generous invitation of the Prime Minister to foster a sense of laboratory, inviting architects from all over the world, I hope that this one will not exclude the local people, the local vision, the local architects.
I wish I can bring a lesson I've learned where I'm from, because of course there's a consequence of this development we had in Italy post-war, which has to be understood well here. No, all the mistakes that we did are some big reference that we have to avoid in this country. We need to generate a sort of critical approach in the way we conceive not just the building design but the building program.
We have to say Edi Rama is an illuminated guy. To build a place, it means to fill this space with reason, joy, and pleasure and passions. And if you are not happy, you cannot be an architect that serves people to be happy in the space they live and to create places.
Në mbrëmje, ndërsa ndriçimi zbut forma dhe muzika mbush ajrin, kupton se nuk je më në një festival. Je në një gjendje kolektive, kur çdo përvojë, një shije, një tingull, një dorë e shtrirë, ndërton një Shqipëri tjetër, jo perfekte, por të hapur, reflektuese dhe gati për të bashkëjetuar.
I wish you keep your beautiful country, you know, improving in architecture but not destroying the landscape, which is amazing. Europe is overruled, and the architects in Europe, they face so many rules and so much bureaucracy that I find totally disappointing as an architect working in different countries.
Albania is a kind of free world in terms of vision that replace rules. Here, with this project, but also with other projects in Vlora, the Lungomare, in fact, completely changed the city. So we did this 8-kilometer public space to give the city a kind of, to link the visual aspect between sea and city, but it is especially the public life that really started to relive. When I see all the projects here, shown here, and that also appear in the book, I would wish probably slightly less spectacle and more concentration on the quality of urban life and the life of people.
The lessons learned is that sometimes design process is very, very short, huge pressure, and then the construction can take very, very long. So I did, for example, the Lake Views project in Tirana. So the design was 6 weeks, and the project was constructed in finished construction 2024. So it took 8 years construction, 6 weeks design.
Let's do a tower. And I said, what? Where? Tirana. How big? Very big, very tall. And we start thinking, and we start this excitement, we start this idea, and what is the program? What should we have inside? No, we will see that after, but first think about the shape, think about the urban forms, think about everything that we can put inside us. And then we start talking together, thinking together, having this huge journey together. And then I came, and I finally came. And from that moment, I am extremely lucky of being part of this revolution, of this much more than an evolution.
Kjo nuk është thjesht një ngjarje, është një gjendje njerëzore, një thirrje për të ndërtuar marrëdhënie, jo vetëm ndërtesa, mikpritje shqiptare, ajo që ne quajmë Albanity vendos tonin. Këtu jemi për të dëgjuar, për të reflektuar, për të ndarë.
Everybody is talking about Albania thanks to Edi Rama. Edi Rama was saying that the vision and obviously the wish is to be part of the European Union, and that probably we're living something extraordinary but also unique. So in a way, we are living this, and then we will have to adapt from here to the reality of the rest of the world, where things are made in a different way. They are more boring, they are more sad, but at the same time maybe they are more professional. Where is the balance? I don't know, but I want to be part of it also.
Very interesting constellation, because it brings political power together with architecture, and power means you can actually move things.
I hope that there will be a lot of attention paid also to the urban aspects, because we see a lot of fantastic, really amazing, iconic buildings. To me, I'm an urbanist, and how I feel that when we traverse through the city, it's the city that speaks to us.
So I'm from Austria, from the Alps, like in the mountains. So we are wood country. So wherever I want to work, I would love to work with wood. And like we did some wood structures here. What would be really lovely and what is good in Austria is the entire industry around it, right? Because woodworking, that it works, it needs a circular system, a loop of material. So you take a tree out of the forest, but the forest still grows. So they keep in balance. And so to start this journey, it will take decades.
I would say that my wish/challenge for Albania will be the quality of what it's not built.
Shqipëria sot është një skenë reale ku arkitektura ka kaluar nga ideologjia e imponuar në dialog të hapur ndërkombëtar. Mbi 150 studio arkitekture nga e gjithë bota janë pjesë e këtij rrugtimi, nga konkurset e hapura deri tek projektet e bashkëpunimit me studio shqiptare. Shqipëria është kthyer në një laborator të mendimit bashkëkohor për qytetin, territorin dhe njeriu.
For me, is the most important and most interesting thing that is happening here is that you are able to join that amount of really good architects. I mean, it's like bringing the best knowledge in the world all together here and letting them to do interesting things for the future, of course, for the future of Albania, that is going to be there forever. Opening the schools to some workshops, some classes that we are more connected to them. Somehow we can give more our experiences, and also they can give us their thoughts and the knowledge and their culture as well.
It takes a good leadership for architecture as well. Yeah, architects alone cannot accomplish this. And of course, with the users, but also in the politics side, I think what the Prime Minister has been doing is a really exceptional and really encouraging.
There are two Albanias, in my opinion, in architectural perspective. Tirana is something else. Tirana is a laboratory, in my opinion. But when you go to coast, you should be more protective, in my opinion. So you cannot do everything there. As an architect who is working mostly on that area, I would like to have more protection from the government side as well.
In the Wild West at the time of it, but there's a kind of an idea of that spirit. Already two in a way client conditions, two people, two groups of people. One flourishing, I mean the flower tower, funny enough, the project is even called that way. Another one in a way collapsing. I mean the project which we're now actually starting to build, the flower tower, it's the immediate result of this one-to-one dialogue. Creating, making care, taking care of, bringing in hierarchies to take care is the ultimate, I would say, tool of architecture. And if we manage that, I mean, and I think the best projects today show that way, it will be an example for the rest of Europe.
Në zemër të festivalit ngrihet një ekspozit si asnjëherë më parë, një maket gjigant e Shqipërisë me projekte të shpërndara në të gjitha anët, nga Brevdeti te qytetet e vogla. Modele të ndërtuara dhe të panisura, ide të fituara e të refuzuara, konkurse që kanë hapur rrugë të reja. Kjo është topografia e një vizioni që nuk jeton më vetëm në letra, por në qytete, në institucione, në jetë të përditshme.
Castrati group to our office. They just knocked on the door without an appointment and said, "Here, we want you to do this tower in the middle of the town." Shocking, you know. And so suddenly I'm fascinated, and it's a rare thing, I think, because Eddie Rama is like an angel.
In this context where everything is actually starting to build up, the best thing that you can do is that you actually bring many people, many strong minds together. I think that together we can really do something meaningful for the country.
I think here we have to rethink about how we have to do master plans and the projects and the buildings and so on. Something has been done not so well.
One is the continuity of the nature inside the city and this permeability of the natural environment with the built environment. No? Second is about what to keep, what to transform, what to destroy. And I think that is something to work with very carefully.
So being part of this ARC army, as the Prime Minister likes to call it, is an honor and also a responsibility.
Pastaj kulmon dita publike, jo për të shfaqur projektet, por për të dëgjuar historitë. Arkitekt, sociolog urban, artist dhe qytetar ndajnë momente personale, dështime që sollën përparim, përplasje kulturore që hapin horizonte të reja dhe ëndra që ende kërkojnë formë. Në këtë hapësirë nuk ka podium, ka dialog, dhe aty ku ka dialog, ka të ardhme.
You've succeeded in gathering a number of architects that is just mind-blowing. It's like, I've never seen that. I was in the Biennale of Venice a few weeks ago, and I don't think there was as many architects of that caliber. You have an opportunity to go straight forward to incredible urban and architectural development without making the mistakes that many other countries have done. And I'm thinking especially about the coast.
I think there's a really unique thing in Albania is that you have so much untouched nature, probably due to the history of the country, like really untouched areas. And it would be such a shame in the future if you develop everything.
I would hope and wish that, you know, all these projects that we're doing isn't really for only developers, you know, but for the bigger public and community as well.
Our relationship with Eddie Rama began in July last year, and then within a couple months, Alora, our team leader, came to Albania in October, and this is her third trip here, and this is my first trip. Overall, I am very optimistic, and so I see it on the ground. I can see it in the optimism, the energy of the space here.
Këtu ndërtohen pavionet përkohshme nga vetë arkitektët në bashkëpunim me klientët e tyre shqiptar. Këto nuk janë ekspozita, janë dhoma të hapura për biseda. Mund të lexosh një libër që frymëzoi një projekt, të shijosh një pije nga Japonia apo Gjermania, apo të shtrëngosh dorën e dikujt që po ndërton një shkollë në Kukës. Një kamera lëvizëse dhe një gazetar arkitekt dokumentojnë këto momente intime, jo për t'i arkivuar, por për t'i jetuar më tej.
I think we must never forget that we're working for the people of Albania, and it's not just who can do this or that better, or it's that we never forget that there's a profound history here.
Well, I came here the first time in 2005 or 2004 when I was editor-in-chief of the Domus magazine, the Domus architectural magazine. And I knew that something of new was happening here. I knew from Henri Sala, who is an artist, and he told me, my friend Eddie is changing Tirana, I think you should go there, and I came. So in 2013, we were part of we are competing for this general local master plan competition. We won with Tirana 2030 proposal. Tirana is really representing the DNA of Albania. The mountains, the valleys, the coasts are still untouched, and this is something that you don't see in other parts of the southern European coast. So my proposal is very simple, is to keep this coastal strip, when it's natural, empty.
And we participated in a competition to do a mosque and a museum of tolerance. And we won it. And what I noticed was that everybody involved from the city side, Edi Rama was the mayor back then, everybody was so young. I returned in 2013. Edi Rama has now become the Prime Minister, and I'm being invited to sort of speculate on visions for the future of Tirana. And one of the ideas we come up with is the idea to elevate the occupation of the pyramid by actually making it legally accessible and turn the monument of a despot into a place for the people. I returned some years later, and now the pyramid is becoming a monument for the people. Skanderbeg Square has become one of the most successful urban spaces in a European city. And in a way, all the ideas that happened with a lot of energy but with little resources in 2010 are now beginning to come into fruition. We are of course involved in creating the National Theatre and a handful of other projects, including a major public space around the National Theatre.
In all honesty, it's as much as it's challenging and thrilling to work here, it's also very exhausting. So it really takes a lot of energy.
One could have said, yes, I will go back. The square is done, there will be towers. It will be like Dubai, or will be like Switzerland, but it's not at all. I mean, you just add another layer, but you're not erasing at the moment, they're not erasing the layer which were there before. And this, for me, is a richness.
Arkitektura më pas takohet me muzikën e gjallë, me valltarët që luajnë me smurave të hapura, me pjatat që ndahen në terrac, me gotat që ngrihen jo për protokoll, por për shprehje mirënjohjeje. Kjo është mikpritja si akt arkitekturor, e gjallë, përfshirëse, e papërkthyeshme, por e ndjeshme.
What I want to do, not only Albania, but also in Japan or in any place, I would like to show the sort of a possibility in architecture. And I'm very happy if you or another guy see my building and, this is architecture. Or architecture can do something like this.
It's very beautiful to walk around, nice restaurants, nice towns, people in the street, a lot of people in the street. This was also something, people were not so much in the street 22 years ago. Now they're all in the street. Albania was always more like a paradise, you know, like as an architect, because, you know, like, I mean, a lot of buildings and projects that I do also in other countries, you know, that this is, it's quite tough to make radical buildings, or let's say buildings to the point, you know, this is something that is not so easy. And
I actually this year celebrate my 20th year of being here in Albania. So I first entered in 2005. I remember that moment as very fresh. When I got from the plane it was the old airport in that time, and came down and watched the mountains, and I really felt like this is home. And so in the projects I've done, the square, the Skanderbeg Square, the Plaza Tower, and now the new building behind the Bashkia, those buildings I could not have made in Brussels. Those buildings are made because they are here. It is Albania that have designed them together through my hands, let's say. There is something in Albania that is extremely valuable. Coming from Belgium, what you have that is very rare and very scarcity is an enormous, rich amount of nature and natural reserves, rivers. And this is the first and the most priority that we have to make sure that our urbanization does not destroy that.
Si mund të jetë Shqipëria më gjithëpërfshirëse, si të ndërtojmë pa harruar, si në fakt arkitektura duhet të shërbejë si një mjet jo për të dominuar, po për të shëruar. Të gjitha këto diskutimet çojnë në manifestet e një vendi që është ende në ndërtime sipër, por që në fakt ka themele të forta bashkëpunimi. Ky është i bashkëpunim mes Shqipërisë dhe botës, mes të shkuarës dhe të ardhmes, mes njeriut dhe hapësirës që e pret, sepse kjo është Shqipëria Next.